One of the styles we use at Page 1 Publications in the Exponent is that on our opinion page, all the columns are going to be left justified, and they're all going to have a 1 column by 3 column or 3 line drop cap and 40% gray. It's pretty standard through our papers, and it's really kind of time consuming to actually do it. So I mean, right now this is the way probably most of you are doing it. You select your article, you select all, you go down here and select the left justified, and then you go up here, you select the one character, you go down to paragraphs, you select the drop cap, which then you set at 1 and 3. And then you have to go back out to the home because this is still not 40% gray. Find the black, set to 40% gray, and then you're finally done. And oh my goodness, look at this. I have more that I have to set, so I have to go through that every time. And you know, those clicks start to add up, and I'm sure everyone's kind of wondered, you know, there's got to be a better way to do this, something that'll free up more of my time and just make life easier. Well, fortunately there is. It's called style sheets. There's three types of style sheets. There's a paragraph style sheet, there's a character style sheet, and there's a conditional style sheet. The paragraph style sheets are based off your character style sheets, so you always want to kind of have your character style sheet done first and then build up to your paragraph, and from there you want to work on your conditional styles when it's going to help you out. And believe me, once you get to learn it a little bit, it does help you out tremendously. So first, what you want to do is you want to go through and you want to set up one column just the way you would have it if it was going to print. So here I've already done it for us. It's left justified, and we have the first column with the drop cap and 40% gray. So just to make things easier on me, I'm actually going to make the rest of that first paragraph 40% gray. Character style sheets are actually pretty easy. So now that I have this set up, I'm just going to select some of the type in it. Press on this A that has a plus sign on it. It's going to bring up a new style sheet. And you name it whatever is appropriate for you so that you can kind of remember it. In my case, I am going to call it column drop 40%. Okay, because I've already formatted all those characters, it's already filled in for me. You can see I have the 40%, I have Nimrod, and I have 9 point. So let's select OK. Now I also want another of just the normal settings for it without the 40% gray. Go through the same process, and in this case you can see I already have it done here, and I just call it drop cap. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to take all the styles off, reset it to body text Nimrod 9 style sheet, and then I'm going to do a paragraph style sheet here. So I go up to the paragraph sign with the plus sign, hit that, and you can see it gives me several things that I can fill in here. The first one is the name, and I'm going to call this drop cap, column 40%. Now, basically I'll leave these two blank, or at no style and self. But when we get down to character style, I'm going to choose column drop 40%. And I'll go over to the Formats tab, select drop caps, make sure it's at 1 and 3, hit OK. You can see that I had everything selected, and it went ahead and made every paragraph like that. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. You can still do a lot of clicking if you want. So let's just go no style. Okay, this is where you have it generally, so you could save yourself a couple clicks. You could go up here, just hit the drop cap 40%, select everything except for the drop cap of sorts, change it to 100%, and your column will be done. That's still too much work for me. In the long run, you're going to keep doing that and over and over and over and over. This is going to be a one-time setup. So, bring up conditional styles, and if you ever want to find those, if it's not showing up, you go to Window, Conditional Styles, and Style Sheets. Make sure they're checked, and those boxes will show up. Okay, so now we're going to open up the conditional style sheet. Just go to the plus. Let's see here if I can make this bigger so we can see a little bit easier what's going on. The first line, apply. And we want the paragraph version of the drop cap column 40% because the paragraph is what actually we had the drop cap in. You see that you could also select just character style sheets here, but we're going to go with the paragraph. Okay. In this field you can use up to, through, backwards, and backwards through. Basically the up to means whatever you're looking for, it'll stop just short of that. If you go use the through, it's going to go through whatever you're looking for and then stop before it goes and does the next style sheet you tell it to. So we're going to select through, number of characters, and it's set at 1. That's what we want. Select the plus, then we want apply. In this case, we don't want to redo everything with the paragraph style because it's going to change that one character we did because we're still inside the same paragraph. So in this case, we just want to use the character style sheet, which is drop cap, through, and in this case we're going to go end of story. Okay. Yeah, the one thing I did forget to do here is I should have renamed this. So instead of new conditional style, we're just going to call it column because that's what we're using for columns. Okay, you can see that it went through here, but let's just go and take everything off. No conditional style, no style, select all, no style, and change it back to our normal. Okay, So I've just copy and pasted all this in. It's as simple as selecting the top column, hitting column, you're done. Select the top column, or actually just put your cursor in the top column, go to your conditional styles, hit column, you're done. As you can see, it's a lot easier and a lot quicker. I use style sheets for many things. In a moment here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up another example showing you how these can really be a time saver. I mean, you can see here you're saving a few seconds here and there, and that adds up. In some instances, it can be actually pretty significant. You could be talking 5-10 minutes. So let's go ahead here and we'll get into that. Okay, here we are on the movie sheet. And this is really where I think that my style sheets, or I shouldn't say mine, Quark Express's conditional style sheets shine. Every week I get a list of movies. You know, you copy and paste them in, and then you have to go through and highlight each individual title to make that bold. And rarely do they fit in the allotted size on a normal spacing. So there's actually several things that we can do here. So if I do this, I copy it. I've already copied and pasted this from an email. So I go in here, boom. You can see I would have to go through and I would have to select this line, go find Helvetica bold, and you can see that takes a little time there. And okay, and we go down to the next, and got to try to find Helvetica bold again here, and it just tends to be time consuming. You know, and then to boot, now I'm going to have to go ahead and redo some spacing. There's got to be an easier way, right? So, first thing we do, we bring up Control F. And the only thing that I see here that really repeats is a double spacing. You know, some of these, they have 3 or 4 lines, so I can't really say, okay, go to the end of the paragraph. Don't want to say go to the end of the story, because then it's going to go through the complete story, and that's not going to work for me. So I have to put in what's called a marker. Real easy. You bring up your Find, Control F in Quark. I'm looking for 2 carriage returns, 2 paragraph returns that are in a row. So that's \P, \P, and I want to replace it with \P, \P, \R. That R is a marker that the style sheets use. So, find next, you can see it, found it. I can just keep going through. Okay, yeah, it looks good. So let's change them all. Quark tells me there's been 19 instances changed. Okay. So now, if I go ahead and copy and paste this, still looks kind of crummy, right? But now I've already gone ahead and made up this conditional style sheet. So let's take a look at what we have going on. Let's just go in here and edit it. Okay. So I'm going to apply to the first paragraph movie name, the paragraph or style sheet for paragraphs, movie name, through the end of the paragraph. Every time there's a return, that's considered a paragraph, even though it's only one line. Okay, and then apply movie time up to conditional style marker. That's that /R that we put in. And then apply the character style movie times through the end of the paragraph. So let's see what happens when we put that in here. And go up, make sure that okay, so one thing that I forgot to do is make sure all the conditional styles are cleared out. So if we go back to no styles, I'll just change it to body text Nimrod just for giggles here. And then back to no style, no style. Click on movie format, and there it is. In a matter of seconds, I took what maybe would have taken me 3-4 minutes. My spacing's still off, but that's pretty easy to take care of too. I go back to my find. I just copy the \P /PR. Uncheck the ignore attributes. Uncheck text. Check size. So in here, I can put in any size I want. And find the right spacing until it looks good. Versus going through and selecting every one and doing it manually. That 16's a little bit too gaudy and actually didn't work too good. Let's just change it to 14 just for giggles. There you go. Now you're perfectly spaced. There might be some things you still have to go back and do, which you would have to do anyway, just to clean it up a bit. But having said that, if I had gone through and done this one click at a time, I'd probably be working on it for the next 10 minutes. There's also other things that you can use for conditional style sheets, things that you use every day. Page 2, I have a lot of my jumps from the first page. So if I want a jump, okay, so I jumped a story, we'll just call it City Council hyphen continued from page 1. Now, if you look at that, that's really not in our style. This should be all in caps. They're different sizes. So I select it, go to my conditional style sheet, select my continued from, oops, there we go. Doesn't work for the way I have it set up if you don't spell the word right. So if we take a look at that, what I did here, continued from name, and this is a character style sheet, up to the text that says hyphen continued, and then apply continued from page number through the end of the story. Then if we go over here to the style sheet, the character style sheet, continue to name, let's just see what we have here. So no conditional style, no style. You can see that I have all caps selected, so you can really format things quite usefully. We'll just show you one more here because there's another one that I think we all use. Just start off with a new, okay, photo by photographer. This is where I put all the cool information about what is happening in the photo. Again, select it. Let's go to our conditional style sheet that I've already gone ahead and created. Select cut lines. Apply cut by through the end of the paragraph. Apply cut body through the end of the story. And you're good to go. And if I needed to change that, all I really have to do is go in and edit either the character or paragraph style sheet, whichever I happen to be drawing from. So basically these are quite a good time saver. You can create as many or as few. They do stick to the page, so if you're using a template, once you save it, it's going to be there every time you open that page, regardless if the box that you created it in is on that page. Now, having said that, let's say you want you want one that you created, or you want to share one that you've created. If I want this column one on this page, because for some reason I'm going to need that style sheet, I simply select a box that has that and I drag it over. Now, as you can see, the column is on this page. If I delete it, it's still on there. All I have to do is make sure that I save it for it to stay on there. So all you really need to do is send one of your pages or a box with that style sheet on to somebody else, and then they would have use of your style. So hopefully you find this useful, and good luck with using it, and hopefully it'll save you time.